Hi, thanks for joining me on HR Chalk Talk. I'm Brent Houchin, founder of Houchin Consulting and co-founder of Tech People Resources, also known as TPR. The HR Chalk Talk podcast is here to provide information to those in HR, those in leadership positions, and those who simply want to know more about HR best practices. Today's subject is the Tech People Resources process. Today, we want to actually go over what we do and how we get to the final product for you as a client. We want to talk about how when Dana and I started TPR, we kept thinking about what was important to our clients and, well, what was important to us. So we broke it down. We made it pretty simple. We wanted simplicity. We wanted to bring you a product that has no strings attached and is easy to use and facilitate once it's complete. We wanted it to have communication. Communication should always be at the forefront of any good relationship, that we communicate with you and that at no time you have to check in with us and say, where are we at or what are we doing? We want you to be very comfortable in how we are treating you. And then trust. Bringing you what you want, what your teams and leadership want, and in the time frame that we promise. That's huge to us. All three of those things, simplicity, communication, and trust, were so important, and that's what we based our process on. So what do we do once we hear from you with a request for a proposal? I'm going to go through the numerous steps that hopefully will make some sense to you. And if, of course, you have any questions, reach out and let us know. We want to make sure that we've answered every question and that this process makes sense overall. First, we learn through listening what you need and what you want. If we don't listen, if we just make assumptions, it's going to turn out terribly and you're not going to get what you want and you're not going to be happy. Our client's happiness is number one. Discuss what works currently and what does not within your company. What has been well received and what has not. We want to make sure that we do not duplicate what has not been well received, but we want to duplicate what has been. We talk about what the teams and leadership want. That's a really big deal. We want to find out what both sides think they need and what they think they want, and we marry that together. We then discuss the best times and dates to have TPR, Dana or myself, or both of us, come out to conduct complimentary discovery. Now, we believe that once you let us in to discover your needs in person, you will not want to let us leave. We've had such great response from this process and from our discovery process in particular that our clients have been overwhelmed with joy with what we're doing. Sometimes discovery can take up to 5 days, depending on the subject and those set up to meet with us. Then we start the discovery by meeting with appropriate teams or leadership to find out what they want. And we do not want to, again, replicate or duplicate what went poorly in the past. So the discovery is anonymous, something that some people don't know and that we make very clear to those who are meeting with us. We never ask for a list of names or titles, just a list of the times of meetings. So in other words, when people come to meet with us, we don't even know their name and we don't ask for their name. That way, if we're ever asked for, asked questions like, well, did Jim have this to say? Or did Sue think this? Or did Brent think this? We're able to say we have no absolute idea. And we're being honest. We end the discovery by meeting with the appropriate executive or HR staff to discuss the anonymous findings more at a high level. We do not answer questions about who said what, as I mentioned earlier. Again, it's very anonymous. We report back, usually within 5 business days, the overall findings and end with a suggestion of what type of learning and development should take place based on the discovery process and what the company wants covered. We work to come to a solution that incorporates all sides. And the reason why we do this, by the way, is often the company will call me and say, we think we need a recruiting training. And we say, great, what has worked, what has not. And then we meet with the teams and those who will actually probably go through the training or the learning and development. And they often will say, wow, we do need recruiting training, but here's what we need in the recruiting training that often leadership doesn't actually know themselves. Because let's face it, often leadership doesn't get the opportunity or doesn't have the opportunity to ask these questions themselves. So we get to go in and ask the questions, find out the information, and come back with a great bit of info, which should be very helpful to you. And again, marrying all the ideas that we're able to incorporate as well. Within the report that we give, we're going to include a proposal. Proposals have numerous options, such as our hourly rate and what it takes to complete the process, and a project rate, which is a flat rate that covers the entire project start to finish. The project rate is generally what most of our clients choose. It's actually the best from a financial standpoint. When the proposal is accepted, we get to work on your custom-made program that is yours when done. That was a tongue twister. So again, we get to work on your custom-made program. No licensing of our product because the product is yours. There are actually about 3 to 4 drafts back and forth between TPR and our client before we get to the finished product. Now, once we have completed the learning and development program for you, we work with the client to determine the date and time of the program to be facilitated by us. We usually suggest such programs be facilitated outside of the office environment because honestly, we have found that when it's outside of the office environment, that the employees kind of shut down from what they need to do. We ask that laptops are put away. We don't allow cell phones to be ringing and people have to step out of the room if they're going to take calls because we try and make this a situation that makes them the most comfortable. So we come out the day before and we walk through the program with the client and make any final tweaks that need to be made. Generally, the client would have already sent off the participant guide to be printed in color and bound for the training itself. The day of the program, we get there earlier to ensure the room is set up in the manner that was found to be best practice by our discovery process. And in the discovery process, we ask each individual, how do you learn best? Is it by lecture? Is it by table groups? Is it by learning experientially from one another? And that's how we set up that room. The program commences based on the length of time determined previously by leadership of the company. Most of our programs last anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, but we have created programs that are as short as an hour for clients as well. It depends on the subject and it depends on the needs of the client. Those who want to learn to train the program in the future generally take notes during the program and then debrief the next day with us. And we can always come back and actually do a full train the trainer session for those who will be taking this over in the future. Because again, this program is yours. The next day, we debrief with the appropriate leadership and those who sat in to learn how to train the program in the future. Or keeping in mind that we can be contacted to return to train the program in the future as well without even using your own trainers. Sometimes some of our clients prefer that we return to actually conduct these trainings as compared to having someone within the company do it themselves. That's entirely up to you. And again, up to the client if you want to conduct a survey as to how the program went, especially since the program is yours moving forward with. That's it. It's that simple. Simple, communicative, and we bring forth trust. That's as easy as it gets. We feel that we succeed in building these programs to best suit our clients and their needs and give them what they want from a contractor-vendor point of view. Off my soapbox, as we close, and today was a shorter one, looks like we're under 10 minutes, but we wanted to verbally tell you how this process works. And sure, you're going to probably have some questions moving forward, and we would love to answer those. But this was a verbal representation of the A to Z of how we do these programs. They are simple, they are easy, but they meet the needs of everyone in the company for the most part. I want to remind you that you can always contact us at Tech People Resources for learning and development opportunities on any HR-related subject. Or you can always reach out to me at Houchin Consulting for HR assistance of any kind. We are here to help. Tune in next time to HR Chalk Talk as I review the subject of general do's and don'ts in HR. And if you don't have an HR, general do's and don'ts are great to know for leadership as well, or anyone that is in a role that might be HR related. It will be a great overview of what it takes to do the right thing, which sometimes, let's face it, it's not comfortable, and being respectful while doing it. And remember, it's about respect. Your employees will thank you. Respect is an absolute must when leading others. The more you know, the more you will succeed. Thanks for joining me today, and have a great week.